Imagine the sun peeking over the horizon in ancient Rome, casting a golden glow on the city below. As the first light of dawn washes over the cobblestones, the eternal city begins to stir. From every corner, the rhythm of life quickens. In the heart of the city, shopkeepers greet the day, their voices echoing through the narrow streets, announcing the arrival of fresh goods and the start of negotiations. The aroma of freshly baked bread wafts through the air, as bakers pull their first loaves from the ovens, a mouth-watering promise of the day ahead. The city, once cloaked in the stillness of the night, now buzzes with the hum of everyday life. The clatter of wagons, the laughter of children running through the squares, the rhythmic hammering from the blacksmith's forge, these are the sounds of Rome awakening. As the city awakens, the Roman day officially begins with the morning rituals. In the heart of the city, Roman citizens start their day with distinct morning rituals. As the sun rises over the rooftops, our ancient Romans would begin their day with a series of religious observances. The household gods, known as the Lars, were of prime importance. A small shrine, often located in the main living area, held figures or symbols of these protective spirits. Romans would start the day by offering a small prayer, sometimes accompanied by an offering of food or wine. This was a private, intimate ritual, reinforcing the bond between the divine and the earthly. Following this spiritual start, the Romans would then move on to the more earthly matter of breakfast. This was a simple affair, often consisting of bread dipped in wine, known as vinum. For those who could afford it, there might also be cheese, olives, or even a bit of leftover dinner from the night before. It's a far cry from our modern-day breakfast buffets, but it served to fuel the Romans for the day ahead. With their bellies filled, the Romans would then turn their attention to their appearance. Dressing in ancient Rome was not just about covering the body, but it was also a statement of social status. The common garment for both men and women was the tunic, a simple rectangle of fabric sewn up the sides and worn belted at the waist. However, if you were a citizen, you would don a toga over your tunic. This voluminous, semicircular piece of cloth was wrapped around the body in a series of complex folds, a skill that every Roman had to master. For women, the equivalent was the stola, a long, flowing dress worn over the tunic. All of these rituals, from the spiritual to the sartorial, helped set the tone for the day. They reminded Romans of their place in the world, their duties to the gods, and their responsibilities to their fellow citizens. After these morning rituals, it's time to head to the Forum for the day's work. The Forum, the heart of ancient Rome, is where the action happens during the day. This bustling hub was the epicenter of Roman public life, a space teeming with activity from dawn till dusk. Think of it as a vibrant metropolis within a metropolis, where the pulse of Rome's political, economic, and social life throbbed unceasingly. The Forum was the place where you would find the movers and shakers of Rome, the senators debating heatedly about the affairs of the state, the orators swaying the public with their eloquent speeches, and the philosophers pondering over the mysteries of life. But it wasn't just the high and mighty who frequented the Forum. It was a place where ordinary folks came to hear the news, voice their opinions, or simply soak in the atmosphere. Here you would see merchants haggling with customers over the price of goods, while market stalls overflowed with a cornucopia of fruits, vegetables, and exotic spices. But the Forum was more than just a marketplace. It was a space where social gatherings took place. Friends would meet, share a meal, or just enjoy a chat under the shadow of the grand temples. The air would resonate with the sounds of laughter, lively debates, and the occasional argument. Not to forget, the Forum was also a hub for religious activities. The citizens of Rome would gather here to offer sacrifices to the gods, to seek divine guidance, or to celebrate religious festivals. The grand temples, dedicated to various gods and goddesses, added a sense of awe and reverence to the atmosphere. As the day progressed, the tempo of activities in the Forum would gradually wind down. The merchants would pack up their stalls, the politicians would retire from their debates, and the people would start making their way back home. The Forum, having witnessed another day of Roman life in all its vibrant hues, would slowly sink into the tranquility of the evening. As the day winds down, the Romans return home for their evening rituals, leaving the Forum under the watchful eyes of the gods, ready to spring back to life with the dawn of a new day. As the sun sets, Romans gather around the table for their main meal of the day. Imagine this: a room filled with the aroma of exotic spices, the sizzling sound of food being cooked, and the clinking of utensils, as Romans prepare for their most anticipated meal, The dinner. The Roman dinner, or cena, as they called it, was a grand affair, often consisting of multiple courses reflecting both the wealth and status of the host. The first course, or gustaccio, was akin to our modern-day appetizer, featuring a variety of dishes such as eggs, olives, and even seafood. The gustaccio set the stage for what was to come, teasing the taste buds with its array of flavors. Following the gustaccio was the prime mensae, the main course. This could include a wide range of dishes, from roasted meats and poultry to exotic game. The Romans loved their meat, but they also had a penchant for the unusual. Delicacies such as peacock tongue, ostrich meat, and even dormice glazed with honey were not uncommon. Of course, no Roman dinner would be complete without the secundae mensae, the dessert. This course would typically consist of fruits like figs, dates, and pears, often accompanied by honey-sweetened cakes. Accompanying these courses was the ever-present wine, usually mixed with water and sometimes sweetened with honey. The Romans believed that water alone was for barbarians, and wine, a gift from the gods. The Roman dinner was much more than just a meal. It was a social event, a chance for Romans to display their wealth and hospitality. Guests would recline on couches while slaves attended to their every need. The air would be filled with music, poetry, and philosophical discussions, creating an atmosphere of cultured sophistication. After a leisurely dinner, lasting several hours, the Romans would not retire to bed. No, the evening was still young. After dinner, it's time for some evening entertainment. Evenings in ancient Rome were a time for relaxation and entertainment. As the sun began to set, painting the Roman sky with hues of orange and purple, the city came alive with a different kind of energy. It was time for the citizens to unwind, to indulge in various forms of entertainment that were as diverse as they were exciting. The Roman theater was an integral part of the evening landscape. These were not quiet, subdued affairs but lively events filled with drama, comedy, and at times political satire. Plays written by the likes of Plautus and Terence would have the audience in splits one moment and deep in thought the next. The theater was not just a place for leisure, but also a platform for the Romans to voice their opinions and reflect on society. But the Romans were not just spectators in their pursuit of entertainment. They were active participants too. The gladiatorial games, a spectacle of courage and combat, were a sight to behold. They were bloody, they were brutal, but to the Romans they were a symbol of their military might and a testament to the virtues of bravery and heroism. The thrill of the contest, the roar of the crowd, the spectacle of it all, it was entertainment at its most visceral. And then there were the feasts. Oh, the feasts! They were elaborate affairs that showcased the culinary prowess of Rome. A variety of dishes, from roasted meats and exotic birds to fresh fruits and fine wine, were laid out in grand style. The Romans didn't just eat, they celebrated food. It was a time for them to socialize, to make merry, to enjoy life in all its abundance. But as the hours passed, the laughter subsided, the applause faded, and the clinking of glasses grew quieter. The city that was bustling with activity a few hours ago was now slowly winding down. The streets were bathed in the soft glow of oil lamps, and the night sky was speckled with stars. As the night draws to a close, the city of Rome finally settles down for a well-deserved rest. As Rome sleeps, we can't help but wonder what the next day will bring. As the city of Seven Hills slumbers, we find ourselves intrigued by the chapters that lie ahead in our journey through time. Just as the Roman Empire expanded its reach, we too will stretch our narrative further. We will traverse across the vast expanse of the Mediterranean, witnessing the empire's growth, its triumphs, and its struggles. We'll meet some of the most renowned emperors who left their indelible marks on history. From the ambitious Julius Caesar to the enigmatic Nero, their stories are as diverse as they are captivating. But even the mightiest of empires have their sunset. We'll explore the factors that led to the eventual fall of Rome, a riveting tale of decadence, pressure from barbarians, and internal decay. Join us next time as we delve deeper into the fascinating history of ancient Rome. Until then, Valete.